One of the videos that I posted up for you guys a while ago was how to paint interior trim pieces of your car. Now I did that on my Accord and I painted the interior pieces bright red. Now there's another option that you can do that isn't exactly quite so permanent, and that is wrapping. Today I'm going to show you how to wrap your interior pieces with wrap. The interior of this vehicle is a gray leather with the wood accent toning and trim pieces around the entire vehicle. So on the steering wheel, on the center dash, on the doors, and in other places. Now the owner of the vehicle is tired of this look and wants to change it. So he's got two options. He can either paint it, like I showed you guys how to do, or he can wrap it. And that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. Now, I can't exactly change this interior trim for the steering wheel. However, I can change everything else. So I can do the door panels, I can do the center console, I can do the air vent area, I can do everything else that's a flat surface. Because this part right here is curved, I can't exactly get wrap around that and make it look nice. So as I said, the interior right now is a regular wood grain look, and the owner wants to change it to a brushed aluminum look. Now the color of the wrap that I have right now is a dark brushed aluminum. I'll have a link for it in the description if you guys want to check it out and buy it. And I'll be showing you guys right now all the tools you're going to need for today. So right here I have everything I need. So I've got the wrap right here. I've got something to cut it with. I've got a squeegee. I've got my cleaning agent. Now it's isopropyl alcohol. I've got a microfiber towel. I took out the center console area right here because taking all this out and getting this area right here to work with is a lot easier than doing it in the vehicle. Now moving down, I'm going to have a heat gun, and this is going to help me make sure that all the wrap that I apply to the vehicle and has great adhesion to the stock panel. Now something to note, if you guys have a trim piece like this and it's kind of rough, it's chipping, or if you have any spots that isn't flat, you want to make sure that you fill that up with some kind of body filler, sand it down and make it flat and uniform, because any imperfection and step in the stock panel, you might be able to notice that through the wrap, depending on how thick it is. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to wrap today is this piece right here. So right now, as you can see, it's got this wood grain finish to it, and now I've got to get access to this thing, clean it, wrap it, heat it up, and then make sure that there's no real spots around the edges that look weird or that are lifting. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take this part here off so I can get access to this, so I can wrap it around this piece. And then we're going to measure a proper size of wrap that's going to cover over this entire piece. So there's one screw behind the door handle right here that I'm going to have to remove. I've got a star screwdriver, just come in here, take this off. And then once that's out, I can take off the clip that's around it. So remove the screw. Hold this, lift this back, and then you can remove this safely. So what I'm going to do with the wrap is I'm going to cover up the entire thing and then wrap it around this piece so it doesn't lift. And the added bonus is that when this is off, which way does it go back on? When it goes back on like this part of the door handle is actually going to be applying pressure onto here, so it won't want to lift again. So with that off, I can come in here and find an approximate size of wrap that I need for this. We're going to measure this up. And the piece that you're going to actually get is going to be bigger than what you actually need. So right here, this is like 20¼ inches. Now I'm going to find something that's about 22 inches long. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because a little bit of overhang is nice, because you can adjust it and move it however you like. The next thing is the height. As you can see, it's about 1.5 inches tall. Now I'm going to find a piece that's about 3 inches, just so I have a little bit of wiggle room and air to work with. Lay out your roll of wrap and measure the size of the wrap that you need. Now make sure that you measure it twice, cut it once. With the wrap now cut, we first have to prep this area. So I've got 70% isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber towel. Spray it down, and then give the entire thing a nice wipe. Now you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you get in the cracks of the panel that you want to work on. So like if I'm working on this, because you have to wrap it around each of the edges, you want to make sure that all of that is nice and clean, because if there's any dust or there's any dirt inside of there, the wrap won't want to stick. So once you do this, that's good, but it's not good enough. Grab one of your squeegees, wrap it inside your microfiber towel, and then run your towel along the entire thing. Now this should clean up and get any of the dirt that's still trapped inside of there. So get your piece of wrap and just put it on top of the panel that you're gonna wrap and make sure that it covers it and you have enough room. As you can tell here, it's gonna completely cover up this piece of wood. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take off a little backing on the back of the wrap on the entire thing. So once you have it like this, just take it all off. Make sure that it's clean. Then you're gonna put it on one side and then you're gonna just lay it down and try and align it as best as you can. So like that, just like this will cover the entire piece and I'll be able to cut off the necessary amount on the end so I can wrap it. So with that like that, I'm gonna grab my squeegee and my heat gun and I'm gonna lay this down. So the way you're gonna lay this down is you're not gonna let it be like this. You wanna warm up the entire piece of wrap before you lay it down. So right now, see how it's still kind of firm and doesn't have a lot of wiggle room? This means that the wrap is still too firm for me to put it down. When you're wrapping this piece, you're not gonna be just laying it down on here. You want it to conform to any curve that you're working with. So that's what the heat gun is for. You're gonna put heat and warm this up until this is very soft. I'll show you what I mean. See this? See how it moves a lot easier now? That means that there's heat inside there, and that means that right now, I can lay that little section down. Now, this is a perfect example. See that little crease? With the wrap like this, when it's warm, or even when it's firm, you can lift this back, and because there's still that little crease in there, you can get the heat gun and take that out. That's one of the benefits of using the heat. So with it like that, you can then come in here and put this wrap down one more time. Now if you have another crease, again, do the same thing. Just peel it back, apply some heat to it, and then try it again. Now when you're wrapping, the way you want to get this to go down is you're going to first push down the centers of it, and then you'll worry about the outsides later. So you just want to get a nice middle ground done, just like that. Try and make sure that there's no creases in the wrap. If there is, again, peel it back and do it again.
Work your way until the wrap is all the way around to the other side of the panel. If you make a mistake, just peel it back, warm it up, and then give her another go. If you're working with a curved edge, your heat gun is going to be your best friend. Give the wrap some heat so it can stretch and conform to any weird angle, and then apply some pressure so the wrap can bond to the panel.
With the wrap down like this, you have a good idea as to where you're going to cut off the excess wrap. So with this much here and this much overhang, I don't need that much. I can cut that off. So I'm grabbing my OLFA and just slicing this little bit. Just like that. Take it off. Now, if you can, try and wrap as much of the wrap as you can around the panel so it actually bites and holds down onto here. If you're just going to be doing the top piece of a panel per se, you're not going to have a good adhesion around the outside corners. So it eventually could lift if you're too aggressive with the side. When you wrap it around, you're going to have to be aggressive with the back side of the panel for it to lift. So if you want it to last very long and you want a very good job, that's how you're going to have to do it. So this little area right here is a good amount of overhang for the panel. Now up here, when it comes on to like the larger area like this, I'm going to have to trim this down just so there's not a lot. So this, I'm going to have to cut all along here. Same down here with the bottom. This is a little bit too much. So come in here with an OLFA, an X-Acto knife or whatever you want to use that's sharp and it's going to give you a good job. So come in here, preferably when it's cold, because when it's cold, the wrap is going to want to cut easier. When it's warm, it's very malleable and it doesn't want exactly to be cut. So start whatever end you want, down here, 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 wherever you want. I'm going to be starting up here at the top and I'm going to work my way down to the end. So before you cut it though, make sure that you have enough wrap because you want to make sure that it can wrap into the crease. So lift it up, just like this. Doesn't have to be pretty because you're going to get the heat gun in here in 2 seconds and push that in. So just lift it along the entire edge. Grab the heat gun, apply some heat up in here, and then get your squeegee and push those in. Now, with the top part done, you're gonna do the exact same thing to the bottom. Now, if you notice when I was doing that, I wasn't getting the squeegee and dragging it along the wrap. I was only getting a crease, putting it in there, and overlapping it every time I went down. So if I stopped here, that's where I want to apply the squeegee the next time. So if this is where I stop, I'm gonna have to have a little bit of overlap when I push it in there again, so everything gets nice even pressure. At this point, I can trim off the little excess wrap around the edges. So get an Olfa, an X-Acto knife, or whatever you want to use, come in here and carefully cut the wrap without cutting too much off of it this side. So if the wrap is going to be tucked this way, I'm going to get my knife and push it down that way.
Carefully cut the wrap without causing damage to your interior panel. If you push on the panel with your blade, you can make a nice gouge in it, leaving permanent damage. Cut the wrap lightly and then tear off the excess.
With the piece cut to size now, grab your heat gun and your squeegee, put a little bit of heat on here, and make sure that everything's on there nice and good.
You should first apply pressure from the middle of the panel and then work your way to the edges. This way, if you have any air bubbles in the wrap, you can push them out. Make sure to heat up the edges and get your squeegee to push the sides down. The better of a job you do at wrapping the edges, the longer the project will last you. Once the trim piece is covered in the wrap, it's now time to put the door handle bezel back on the door. Screw it in and call it a day. Unfortunately, I was getting pressed for time to wrap the rest of the interior trim pieces, so I wasn't able to film any of the other panels that I did. I wrapped the center console area along with all the door trim pieces like the one in this video. If you guys have wrapped your interior trim pieces, tag me on Instagram at Millmast so I can see your work too. Thanks for watching guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.